Hello all. Welcome to the part 3 of JavaScript for Beginner series. In this session, I am going to explain and practically demonstrate the basics of HTML, CSS and DOM which are required for learning JavaScript. Okay? These are the prerequisite basics for learning the JavaScript guys, that is HTML basics, CSS basics and DOM basics. I'm not going to explain HTML, CSS, and DOM in a detailed manner in this session. Rather, I am going to cover the basics of HTML, CSS, and DOM, which are required for learning JavaScript. Okay, so let's get started. First, we'll start with the HTML basics for JavaScript. What are the HTML basics you have to learn for learning the JavaScript? I'm going to cover first. Okay, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Okay, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Fine. So what is the purpose of the HTML? The purpose of the HTML is to create the structure of web pages. Okay, HTML creates the structure of web pages. Okay, structure of web pages will be created with the help of HTML. That means I'll demonstrate, guys. Okay, what HTML can do, I'll demonstrate. So here HTML only will create the skeleton of the web page. It will not color it. Okay, it will not prepare the UI, how the background should be, which color should be. Okay, it's like what you can say, guys. It's like a skeleton in human body, guys. Okay, without any skin. HTML creates a skeleton in a human body without any skin. You can correlate with there. Okay, HTML simply creates the structure of the web page, but it will not add any skin tone, color, or hair color, or all those stuff. Okay, that UI part will not be there. Without UI, the skeleton will be created. Anyhow, we'll see that in action, guys. So how does the HTML look like? Okay, the next point is, how does the HTML look like? For that, guys, I will show you an example web page and show you the HTML source code of that particular web page. Okay, the HTML source code which was used for creating the structure for that particular web page, I'll show you. Okay, for that I'll click here, guys. It will take me to a sample example web page. Okay, so on the sample example web page, there are two paragraphs being displayed, right? Paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. Only two paragraphs are there. Very simple web page, guys. Okay, for this web page, to display these paragraphs, how much HTML code is written? To find out that, okay, in any browser, say Chrome or Firefox, what you can do is just right click on some empty space on this page and select option like inspect option, guys. Okay, just select the inspect option. The moment you select the inspect option, you will get this Google Chrome DevTools. Okay, you may not get this Google Chrome DevTools on the bottom right away. So by default, most of the people will get on the right side like this. Okay, but if you want to have a better look, just jog it to the bottom. Okay, so that you can see this. Okay, I can even just drag it to the top so that you can see see more of this Google DevTools. You see, by default the elements tab is selected, and under the elements tab you can see the HTML code. Okay, for this HTML page, for this sample or simple basic HTML web page which is having two paragraphs, this is the entire HTML code, guys. You see, it's starting with the HTML tag, ending with the HTML tag. Don't worry, guys, I'm going to explain, and we are going to create a web page from scratch. Okay, this is just for a demo, guys. Okay, how the HTML will be there. Under the HTML, guys, you can see there are two children. Okay, under this HTML, in between the HTML tags, there are two children. One is head section, other one is body section. Okay, so head is starting here, ending here. Okay, body is starting here, ending here. HTML is starting here and ending here. In between the HTML, we have two children, head and body. Again, head is starting here, ending here. Body is starting here, ending here. So inside the head, guys, again there is one more child element, that is title tag. Okay, title HTML tag is there. This will decide the title of the web page. You see, whatever the title that is displayed here, basic web page title, that is because of this. If I change the title, let's say I'll change the title to my name, Arun Motori. You press enter, you see the title of this okay web page got changed to my name. That's how simple it is, guys. Okay, fine. The next one is a body, guys. Inside the body, guys, as you can see, there are two paragraphs. Okay, paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. So in the first paragraph, guys, in the first paragraph, the content is there. You see, this is starting tag and this is ending tag. The starting paragraph tag and ending paragraph tag, and in between the paragraph tags, there is some content. That content is being displayed here, a paragraph of text. Okay, I'll I'll just change this text to my name is Arun Moturi, so that you can see the reflection there. Enter. You see the first paragraph is being displayed as my name is Arun Moturi. And what about the second paragraph? Here I'll type something like I love creating content on software testing. Okay, I love creating content on software testing. Press enter. You see the second paragraph text also got changed. So that's how simple it is, guys. Okay, paragraph, first paragraph, second paragraph. If you want to represent some paragraphs in HTML, we have to use paragraph tags. Okay, so from here to here is the starting paragraph tag, and here to here is the ending paragraph tag. I'll explain all the basics, guys. Don't worry. And also, guys, these paragraph tags have some attributes also. The starting paragraph tag is having some ID and class attributes. Okay, I'll explain more about these attributes later, guys. Okay, this is not the right time. So overall, this is a sample web page, and this is HTML code that is required for creating the structure of this web page like this. Okay, only the structure is being created here, guys. There is no UI and all. You see the default colors are in black color for these paragraphs. Fine. So this is an example, guys. Now let's move on to the actual thing. So let's create our own HTML web page, guys. Okay, so this was example web page. So let's create our own web page now. How to create that? For that, guys, we have to first create the basic structure of the HTML. Okay, so if you remember in the last session, guys, we have installed a tool known as Visual Studio Code. Just type the Visual Studio Code here, Visual Studio Code, and you'll get this editor. Just launch the Visual Studio Code editor, which we have downloaded, installed, and used. Okay, in the previous session. So here, if you remember, we have browsed this particular folder in the last session itself. Under that folder, guys, I'm creating a new file. I'll say HTML demo dot HTML. I'll say okay dot HTML, or I can say HTML basics dot HTML basics dot HTML is the extension I'm going to give, and press enter, guys. The HTML file has been created here, but it doesn't have any HTML code. So in HTML, guys, in the HTML, the root element is HTML tag. Okay, just remember this, guys. In any HTML web pages, the root element or root tag is what? HTML tag. So the first thing that we have to do one after we create this HTML file is that we have to create the root tag. So we have to create the tag like this. Okay, so in between the less than and greater than symbols, okay, in between the less than and greater than symbols, you have to type HTML, guys. That will create the HTML tag. This editor is automatically creating the end tag, guys. By the time I'm creating the okay starting tag, automatically the end tag is getting created. Fine. Now, guys, in between the HTML tags, okay, in between the HTML tags, we can create the child tags. Okay, how to create the child tags? So here I'll press tab, guys, just for the look and feel. I'll press tab for the look and feel, and here I'll type head. Okay, and here I'll say body. Okay, there are two sections I'm creating, guys, head section and body section. These are the two children of the HTML tags. Okay, as we already discussed, HTML is the root tag, and under that we have two child tags of HTML, that is head and body. Head is starting here automatically. This is the ending, guys. Okay, so if you clearly observe the starting and ending tags, guys, here the starting tag is something in this format, less than symbol, greater than symbol, in between the name of the tag. But ending tag has some extra character here, that is forward slash is there. Okay, this represents the ending tag is okay. Starting tag is same as ending tag, except this particular forward symbol is there. Okay, forward slash symbol is there. So this says that this is the ending tag. Okay, the HTML tag is starting here and HTML tag is ending here. Similarly, inside the HTML tag, we created two more tags, that is two more children tags, child tags, that is head and body tags. Okay, so head tag is starting here, head tag is ending here. Body tag is starting here, body tag is ending here. It's like, guys, assume that HTML is the body, human body, and this is the head of that body, and this is the body section of the body. Okay, this is the head of that body, and remaining body is here, like that. Okay, just assume that. Fine. So, guys, now, guys, if I let me say file. Uh, don't say anything, guys. Don't say anything. I'll just do one thing. I'll right click here and say open with live server. Okay. I'll open this HTML file with the live server. Okay, it will open in a browser, guys. This HTML file will be rendered in the browser. Okay, how the browser can understand the HTML, guys. Okay, the browser can understand the HTML. From this HTML file, I will be opening the browser like this. Just right click on this Visual Studio Code in this particular file and say open with live server. You will see a browser will open up. Okay, the browser got opened up. This is a browser which came, guys. Okay, so if you want to see both the things together, guys, I'll just resize it so that you can see. So I'll just drag it to the left side, and on the right side I'll put the browser which we have opened, or I'll close this once again, guys. I'll just right click again. Once again I'll say open with the live server. You'll get the browser again. Okay, this is the browser we got. Again, resize it. Just put it side by side, guys, so that you can see both the things together. You can see both the things together. Okay, this side we have the HTML code and this side we have the browser. Okay, the live browser which is accessing this HTML code and displaying the things. So guys, if you clearly observe the what is the title, guys, is there any specific title coming for this HTML web page? This HTML code is represented as like this, guys. Okay, there is nothing displayed on the web page, and on the title, guys, there is no proper title. Okay, the file name is coming as a title. But if you want to provide a particular proper title here, you can do something. You can provide the inside the head tag. You just create a child tag, guys. That is title. Okay, title child tag. So this is a starting title child tag, and this is the ending of the title tag. So in between that, you provide the actual title of the web page that you want to display. Say HTML basics. Okay, HTML basics by Arun Motori. Okay, HTML basics by Arun Motori. I'll put. You see now the title got changed. Why, guys? This HTML file is auto save, guys. If you have followed my previous session where I explained Visual Studio Code, I just auto saved this particular file. Okay, and this is a live one. Okay, whatever the changes you are doing, and they are automatically getting saved, and the browser is automatically reflecting them. Okay, this is the easiest process. Whatever the code you are writing, that is being done. The output is being shown here in a very dynamic manner, where realistic manner. Okay, I don't have to manually go and save and refresh the web page. Automatically it's happening. I just see that. Okay, this is the advantage of using the Visual Studio Code anyhow, which I have already covered in the previous session. If not, if you have not gone through that, just go back to the previous video and come back, guys. You will understand what's going on here. Okay, now, guys, uh, I want to do something more, guys. Okay, that is, I want to create some paragraphs here. Okay, I want to display some paragraph text here. Say I'll say P here. I'll say my name is Arun Motori. I love, okay, I love creating content on software testing. Okay, my name is Arun Motori. I love creating content on software testing. You see, this is a paragraph, guys. When I created this text, when I provided the text between this paragraph tags, you see, a paragraph got created here, guys. Okay, a paragraph got created here. Similarly, we can create a lot of things in uh, okay, in HTML we can create different type of HTML elements, guys. HTML will only create the structure of the web page, guys. Okay, it will not style them. Okay, the color and all those stuff will not be done by HTML, guys. So just remember that. Now what I will do is I will create a text box field, guys. Okay, I would like to create a text box field. So how to create a text box field in HTML? For that, guys, we have to use a tag known as input tag, guys. Okay, we have to use a tag known as input tag. Input type is equal to, okay, input type is equal to text. I have to say text. Okay, and that's it, I guess. Nothing much. You see the text box field already got created here, guys. Okay, whatever the HTML code you have written for that, the text box field already got created here. So if you want this particular if you want to put a label for this text box field, let's say email address, okay, or username, let's say, otherwise, okay, username colon I'll put. You see, you'll get a username label you are getting and the text box field. So more things are possible, guys. I'm not going to deep dive there. Okay. And also, guys, here you can put a placeholder if you want. Placeholder is equal to the double quotes. You just provide the placeholder as username. Okay. So you will get the placeholder like this. Okay. You generally see these kind of placeholders in the real applications, right? So this is how we can create the text box fields in HTML. Similarly, if I want to create some radio buttons, guys. Okay. I want to uh, create some. Okay. So I'll say uh, select your vehicle. Okay, something I'll say, and colon, I'll put a colon here. Select your vehicle. You see guys, the problem here is the username text field is in the same line and select your vehicle is also coming in the same line, but I want the select your vehicle in the next line. For that guys, what I have to do is I'll just add something known as br here. Okay, break. Br means break. It will take you to the next line. Okay, again add one more br so that enough space is not there. Once I add another br, you see the proper space has been given. Now beside this select your vehicle guys, I'll just give some radio buttons guys. Okay, I want to create some radio buttons. For creating the radio buttons in HTML, also you have to create some input tag only guys, but type should be mentioned as not text. Okay, if you specify the type as text for the input, it will create a text box field, right? But here if you don't specify also, it's a text box field only, but the moment you say radio here, you see the radio button is coming. Okay, and guys I want to give some label to this radio button. Okay, I'll say car guys. Okay, slash input guys, this is okay, slash input I will say. And you see, if you want to select the car, you have to select this radio button. Okay, now similarly I'll say input type is equal to, okay, input type is equal to, I will say again radio, another radio button guys. Here I'll say bike, and here also input, ending tag is also input. So another radio button, bike. So here another input tag I'll give guys, input okay, so radio, I'll say bus. Okay, bus slash input. Like this, you can create any number of radio buttons, guys. That's okay. So, so what is the functionality of the radio button in general, guys? You have to select the radio buttons, right? But at a time, you cannot select all these radio buttons. Okay, at a time, you should not be able to select all the radio buttons. This is a group of radio buttons where you should be able to select only one out of these three radio buttons. To make that possible, guys, have to group all these radio buttons together. How to group all these radio buttons together, guys? For that, guys, I have to add something known as name attribute. Okay, you see guys, till you see we are slowly moving into the attribute level, right? For example, here type is also an attribute, and text is the value. Okay, in the starting tag itself, we are providing type is equal to, here guys, for example, this is the starting tag, input starting tag, this is the input ending tag. Okay, so in the input starting tag, to make this input tag a radio button, I just gave an attribute known as type. Okay, type is equal to attribute value as radio. The moment I gave the attribute value as radio for this type, a radio button got created, and here this content, okay, HTML elements content is car. Okay, that is coming as label here. So you have to understand few terminologies, guys. That is starting tag, ending tag, and HTML elements content, element content of the tag, and these are the attributes. Now I'm here only one attribute was there earlier, that is type is equal to radio, but I'm trying to create another attribute just to group all these radio buttons together, guys. So I'll give this as vehicle. Okay, I'll copy paste this another second attribute for all the radio buttons, guys. Okay, because we have to group all this together, right? Because if these three radio buttons have the same name attribute and same name attributes value, they will be grouped together, guys. Okay, so it's auto saved anyhow. Now try to select, you see, at a time only one option you can select, because these three radio buttons are grouped into a single name. Okay, they're grouped by a single name, that is vehicle, vehicle, vehicle. Hope guys you understood what is the purpose of this name attribute now in HTML. Now, so different attributes have different purpose and use, guys. Okay, we'll learn in a practical way in the same manner. Okay, now let's create some checkbox fields, guys. Okay, so select okay, select something, guys. We have to go with something for checkbox field. Let's say select your items for school or something. I'll write here. Okay, but the problem here is this one is coming in the same line of the radio buttons. I want to move this label to the new line. For that, again, guys, just copy paste this BR and just paste it here so that it will move into the next line like this. Okay. So select your items for the school label, and here I'm going to create this input tags only again. But the thing is, I'm going to change this radio to checkbox. Simple. CHECKBOX. Okay. Is it? It's not a radio button. Now it's a checkbox. So same thing I'll copy paste for the remaining also. Okay, so fine. So here I'll say, I'll just group them also, guys. There's no need of grouping, but it's better to group as per the rules and formality. Okay, name school I will give. and here I'll say bag, pen, pencil. Okay, pencil, like this. I'll give three options. Okay, but the difference between the radio buttons and checkbox fields is that the radio, only one out of the multiple radio buttons can be selected, but coming to the checkbox fields, you can select multiple options. Okay, two or three options, whatever you feel. Okay, you can uncheck, check. Okay, this is okay with the checkbox fields. So guys, you are able to understand some HTML, right? Okay, you are able to understand the HTML, right? This is what you have to understand, guys. Okay, this is what you have to understand. Similarly, we can do a lot, guys, in HTML. I'm not going to explain each and everything in HTML, but these basics are enough. Okay, for understanding the HTML, these basics are enough. So you can, I'll be explaining one or two more things, and I'll be jumping on to the CSS. Okay. So next thing is that again I'll put the BR here so that we can move to the next line. Okay. So where is the browser? Here is a browser. Now guys, I'll show you how to create a hyperlink. Okay, I want to put a link here. So for that we have to use in HTML, we have to, for creating the hyperlink, we have to use tag known as anchor tag. Okay, starting anchor tag and ending anchor tag. In between that, I'll provide the text. For example, I'll write the text like visit QFox. Okay, visit QFox. Okay, so the moment I write here, you will get the visit QFox, but you cannot click on this text, right? It's not a hyperlink. Though you have put this particular text between the anchor tags, okay, you are not able to click it. So what we have to do is you have to provide a hyperlink to this. You have to convert this text into a hyperlink. For that, we have to use an attribute in anchor tag, the starting anchor tag. You have to provide an attribute known as href attribute, and here in between the tags. Okay, so I'll just browse some my website URL here. I'll copy paste. Just copy this qfox.com and paste it here, guys. Okay, that's it. Now guys, you see you got the hyperlink here, right? Now this visit QFox got converted into hyperlink. If you click on that, guys, it's opening in the same page itself. Okay, I'll go back, guys. I'll go back. So what I will do now is I don't want, when I click here, I don't want this particular link to open in the same tab. Rather, when I click on this, I want this qfox.com should open in a new tab. For that, guys, we have to add another attribute. Like this, we have a lot of attributes in HTML, guys. Okay, depending on your needs, you just need to search it and find it out. Okay, I have to say target is equal to underscore blank. Okay, this attribute will make this link to open in the new tab now. Okay, so now just click here, guys. This time when I click on the link is opening in a new tab, not in the same tab. Okay, that's how, guys, this is how we have to learn the HTML. We even have different tags for images, guys. For example, if you want to create some image, you have to say image src is equal to, like this you have to create. Okay, src. So if you want to display some image here, guys, so this is the thing. So what image, we'll try to get some image, guys. Let's say, let's try to display some qfox.com. Let's see. Uh, Copy link address. If it is coming as an image, that's okay. It's not coming as an image, guys. We cannot provide there. We'll do one thing, guys. We'll do one thing. There are some sample images. I'll just search for this. Google.com. I'll just search for some sample image, guys. Let's say I'll search for tutorials ninja, or I can search for Arun Moturi or whatever it is, and I'll just search for the images, guys. If I get some image here, that's okay. Let's see, this image is hosted where? This image is hosted somewhere. No, this also no, guys. Just give me a second, guys. Just give me a second. I'll find a proper image now. Let me find a proper image so that I don't waste your time. Okay, guys, I got some image link. You see, this is the logo of the JavaScript. I got an image link here. You see, this is the URL, and at the end, this URL should have some extension like PNG or JPG. Okay, then only you can take this kind of URLs you have to take, guys. Copy them and provide here, paste it here. Okay, so inside this img source, just provide that. Just go back. You see, whatever the image you gave here, that image is getting displayed. Okay, you can change the height and width of this. So let's add some height and width. Height is equal to, and width is equal to, because the image is very big, right? So I don't want that size. So let's see what will happen. That became very small. So I'll just change it to 100. Let's see how much it will come. 100 is this much. Here also I'll say 100. That's okay. And I'll just add this BR so that it will go to the new line after the hyperlink. Okay. You see guys, this is an image. We are able to display an image, okay? Not just from the URLs guys, but also if you have the image at the same location, okay? For example, I'll do one thing. I'll do an experiment here. So I'll just go to qfox.com and I'll just save this image guys, okay? I'll just save this image, save image as, and in my machine at the same folder, okay, where the HTML file is there, I'm saving the image, okay? Okay, I'll just saving the image there itself. And here guys, because this HTML file is also at the same location, the HTML file is also in the same folder guys. What is the folder actually? The VSE files. In the same folder we have this image also, okay? The image is also in the same folder, okay? Now give the name of the image guys, that is website size.png, okay? So now go here and see, you got the QFox logo also, okay? Now you got the QFox logo. So let's change the height and width. Height is fine, width has to be increased. Let's say 300 if we give, does it look good? Just a broaden thing, that's okay. So we'll give the height a bit more, 150. It's a better one, okay? The better one guys, okay? So 150 by, okay, so or 75 you can change, and here you just change it 150, it may look good even more. Yeah, it's looking good now at 75 and 150 height and width, okay? So like this also you can do guys, you don't have to get an image from the online, okay? This kind of URL, if that is not available, just try to create the image at the same location where the HTML file is there and provide the name of the image, or give the path of the image. If it's at a different location, give the entire path of this image in your machine, okay? That's fine. So let's not dig deep into the HTML guys. This is what I wanted to explain about HTML, nothing much, okay? All the attributes are covered, okay? HTML element content is covered, starting tag, ending tag, okay, head, body, HTML, root elements, everything is covered, guys. These are the basics for HTML, guys. Nothing much you have to learn. Okay, you don't have to learn much. Next thing, guys. Okay, next thing is we'll jump on to the CSS basics for JavaScript, guys. Okay, now once we completed the HTML, we have completed the HTML basics. Now you're good with HTML, guys. I covered all the things, whatever I wanted to cover. Now let's jump on to the CSS basics. Okay. So HTML will only create the structure of the web pages, but it will not style it. Okay, styling is not there in HTML, guys. Okay, CSS will style it. Using CSS, we have to style it. So in order to style this HTML pages, the structure created by the HTML, we have to use CSS. Okay, CSS stands. What is CSS, guys? Okay, what is CSS? CSS stands for cascading, cascading style sheets. Okay. CSS stands for cascading style sheets. What is the purpose of CSS then? The purpose of the CSS is to, okay, style the web pages. Okay, the purpose of the CSS is to style the web pages. Okay, we can style the web pages. It's like here only skeleton is there, now skin and hair and everything is given to that person. Okay, the outer look of that person is given here, only skeleton. Assume that HTML will create a skeleton. Okay, skeleton for the web pages. Skeleton for the web pages, whereas this will give you the skin tone and all those stuff. Okay, skin tone, hair, etc. Skin tone, hair, okay, clothes, etc. This is CSS, guys. Okay, the one which gives the styles to the web pages is the CSS. Now guys, let's see now how the page is looking for us here side by side. When you see here, the page looks very dull, okay, because only the structure is being created, all the elements are created, but the structure is there. But how to implement the CSS, how to implement the styling for this here HTML code? For implementing the styling, guys, anywhere you can type. Okay, so I prefer here. Okay, let's this is the basics only, right? You don't have to take it hard. So let's type the script tags here. This script tags, okay, sorry, not script, guys, sorry, style. Okay, style tags. Okay, I have to give the style tags. For CSS, I have to give the style tags. Okay, so this style tags belongs to HTML or CSS. The style tags I have written here belongs to HTML or CSS. They belong to HTML only, guys. But they allow you to, in between the HTML style tags, you can write the CSS. Okay, you can write the CSS code inside the style tags. Okay, style tags, even though they belong to HTML, HTML is HTML document is allowing you to write the CSS code inside its style tags. Okay, that means style tag belongs to HTML. Whatever I am writing in between the style tags, that belongs to CSS, guys. So how to style this? Okay, For example, here guys, this, whatever you are seeing this white area, right? That is a body section. Okay, the top one, that wherever the title is there, that is a head section. Under this address bar, whatever the white area is there, that complete white area and whatever the elements that are displayed, all these are on the top of the body section of the page. So what I want to do is I want to change the body color, guys. Okay, I want to give a proper background color. Okay, I don't want the white color, default white color. I want the background color. For that, what I can do in between the style tags, I'll just provide what is a tag here, guys, which is represented in the body section in HTML. So this is a body tag. Body tag is starting here, ending here, right? What is the tag name here? Body. Okay, just type the body here. Okay, just type. But see, this is whatever I'm writing now is a CSS, guys, not HTML. Okay, in between the style tags, whatever I'm typing here is a CSS. Okay, so for body tag, what you want to do? Just provide the starting brace and ending brace, guys, like this. Okay, body, body starting brace, ending brace. Here in between that, type background color colon. Okay, body tag background colon. Let's say blue. If I give blue, it looks very dark, right? I will just change it to light blue. Okay, light blue. Okay, the light blue is very good. Okay, it feels very good, right? The background color of this page is now looking. You see now you are styling the page, guys. Okay, till now before this is actually styling the page already, right? Similarly, we can style a lot of stuff, guys. Okay, we have a lot of styles here. So in CSS is all about styling, guys. Okay, whatever I'm typing here is nothing but CSS. Okay, in between the style tags of HTML, whatever I'm typing is a CSS. Okay, body already this body got styled. Now let's go to the other things. Let's say let's go with this paragraph, guys. Okay, let's go with this paragraph. If it is a paragraph, how should it look? What should be the style? Let's say let's display the paragraphs in some color, guys. Okay, paragraph text should be displayed in some color. I'll say color colon. I'll display the paragraph text in some crimson color. Okay, let's see what is that color. You see the paragraph text got displayed in crimson color. Okay, so you can choose many things, guys. You see from here also you can change. Okay, if you feel like you want to change it, just change it, guys. So that's okay. Okay, so let's go here and select. You see now it's not it doesn't look good, guys. Okay, so the colors can be given in RGB also. That's okay. Okay, so let's go back. I'll say Control Z, guys. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. I'll just remove these, guys. Otherwise, okay. I'll just give whatever the colors I know. Color colon. If I give purple, you'll get the purple color there. Okay, you get the purple color there. The paragraph text got displayed in purple color. Or you can do one thing, guys. So what you can change the font size. Okay, font size. Not just one thing you have to provide here, guys. In between these curly braces, you can provide as many number of things as you want. Okay, one thing you are changing for this paragraph is the color. Okay, one thing you are changing is the color, guys. Similarly, we'll change one more thing, that is font hyphen size colon. Okay, so let's give some font size, guys. Let's say 50 px we'll give. You see this looks very big. I'll change it to 25 px. Now it looks good. Okay, the font size like this, guys. Lot of CSS properties are available for use. Okay, for all the paragraphs on this page, the paragraph text should be in this size and color should be this size. That's what we are saying. This is what is CSS, guys. Nothing much. Okay, so remaining are like labels, radio buttons and images, right? So let's leave it, guys. Okay, so you can apply to any of the CSS properties too. These are the tags, guys. You see this paragraph is a tag. For the paragraph should have this styling properties. Okay, there are a lot of styles, guys. Just when you type, you are getting, right? You see when I say A or B or C, you are getting something. Your alignments, font size. If I say font, you are getting something here. You see font. You can even give a background color to the paragraphs, guys. For example, if you want to give a specific background color to the paragraph, you can give. Let's say I'll give yellow color. You got the yellow background color. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, like this, guys. You can whatever you want to style, the way you can style it like this. Okay, you can do anything, guys. You can do anything. Fine. Okay, guys, this is all about the CSS, guys. Anything else I want to explain? Background color, style tags, text color, font size. I covered everything, guys. This is enough for CSS basics. Okay, for learning the JavaScript, this much enough. This much amount of CSS basics are enough, guys. You don't have to dig more. Now let's move on to the last final, okay, topic or final basic thing that you have to learn before learning the JavaScript. That is DOM basics, guys. Okay, the final one is DOM basics. DOM stands for, okay, what is this DOM? So DOM stands for document object model. Okay, DOM stands for document object model. This is what is DOM, guys. Okay. Okay. So what is the purpose of this DOM then? Okay. DOM stands for document object model, and but what is the purpose of the DOM? So JavaScript. Okay. To be straightforward, guys, I can explain more about DOM, but coming to the basics of JavaScript, I'm limiting this. Whatever I'm explaining about DOM, I'm just limiting myself. In respect to JavaScript, if I have to explain DOM, JavaScript internally, okay, JavaScript uses DOM for accessing the, okay, JavaScript uses DOM for accessing the HTML elements, okay, on the web pages, and also modify them, okay, and also modify them, guys, okay. It can also modify them. So JavaScript will use DOM for accessing the HTML elements on the web page and modify them. But okay, before moving into the JavaScript, guys, I'm not going to explain JavaScript here because JavaScript I'm going to start explaining from the next session onwards. Okay, I'm going to start JavaScript from the next section. But what I'm saying here is our focus is on DOM, guys. Okay, JavaScript uses DOM for accessing the HTML elements. For example, guys, here. Okay, for example, here, guys, if using the if JavaScript has to access this text box field, okay, if the JavaScript has to access this text box field on the web page, it has to use DOM, guys. Okay, we have to create some DOM statements for locating this text box fields. Okay, we have to create some DOM statements for locating this text box field. JavaScript can only access this text box field on the HTML page via DOM, guys, via document object model. Hope you understood the purpose of the DOM. Okay, now guys, let's minimize all this stuff, guys. Okay, let's minimize this editor and all those stuff. Okay, we are done with the Visual Studio Code editor. In Visual Studio Code, we practice HTML and CSS. That's fine. But coming to the DOM, guys, you don't need Visual Studio Code editor for practicing the DOM. For practicing the DOM, a simple web browser is enough, guys. Okay, a simple web browser is enough. What I will do here is, guys, I'll just close all these things and I'll open a new browser. In that, I'll take you to a sample web page, basic web page compendium dev. Okay, the same web page. Okay, the simple web page I'm taking you. So on this web page, guys, we are going to start practicing the DOM statements. Okay, it's very simple, guys, nothing much. First of all, guys, just to get started with the DOM, in DOM there is something known as document, guys. Okay, in DOM, in DOM statements, when you start creating the DOM statement, the first word will be document, guys. Document means what? In DOM, document means what? Document means entire web page, guys. Okay, this entire web page is nothing but the DOM. Okay, whatever the web page is there, if I rightly can save this web page somewhere on my computer and go back there, and this is a web page, right? If I edit this, okay, if I edit this Notepad plus plus or some editor, you see the entire web page, this every content of this web page is referred by a word known as document in DOM. Okay, DOM, document in DOM stands for the entire web page code. Okay, so let's execute this document, guys. Okay, so you go to the basic web page like this. Okay, this is a basic web page, guys. I will right click and inspect here on this web page, and to practice the DOM, guys, to practice the DOM statements, you don't need any particular editor, guys. Simple, the browser is enough. So what you have to do to practice the DOM, I have to right click somewhere on the web page, inspect, and I'll get this DevTools, Google Chrome DevTools. And here you see something known as console, guys. Just click on the console, and there is a button like clear console. Just click on the clear console, guys. Here, guys, you can write the DOM statement. Simple. Okay, here you can write the DOM statement. Let's say if I type document, only document here, I told you, right, document is a first word in the DOM statements, right? All the DOM statements will start with a word known as document. Okay, if I only type document and press enter, as I mentioned, document in DOM refers to the entire web page. You see the entire HTML code along with the HTML declaration, everything came up here. Okay, the entire HTML code of this page along with the declaration of the HTML, which version the HTML this particular page is using, and all those stuff. Everything is coming. The entire HTML web page is coming, guys, here. Okay, the entire code for the HTML web page is coming. It's a file, guys. You can say that it is a HTML file. It's a document is referring to the entire HTML file. For example, guys, I don't want the entire HTML file, but I only want the HTML code. Okay, whole HTML code of this page I want. I don't want the entire document, but I want the whole HTML code of this page. Okay, for that, guys, what I have to type here is I have to say document dot. I have to first type children, guys. Okay, I just need to type children here and press enter. Okay, I cannot zoom it, guys, because okay, I cannot zoom the Google Chrome console. So just okay, you just watch this particular session in the desktop. Okay, so whatever is possible, I'm trying to zoom, but something I cannot zoom. So here, guys, document dot children. If I type, guys, so what I'm getting, guys, I'm getting at zero, at the index zero, I'm getting only one children is there, guys. Length is equal to one. Only one child is there, and that child is nothing but the this particular HTML tag, which is at the index zero. That's what it is saying, guys. So next time when I type the statement, if I only want to get this HTML portion, then what I have to do? I have to simply type document dot children of, okay, document of children of zero. I have to type. Okay, after the children, here only children I typed, I got this HTML collection. Only one child is there and all that info, but I only want the section, guys, from HTML to HTML. I don't want this entire document. So I'll say document dot children of zero, I will say, and press enter. This time you, this time, guys, you see you got only HTML to HTML. Okay, all the things that are there from the starting of the HTML to the ending of the HTML, we got it. That's fine. Now the next requirement, guys, the next requirement is the same requirement. I can say here, I was typing document dot children of zero. Is there any better way of typing this instead of providing like document dot children of zero and all those stuff? If I have to get the same HTML, guys, there is something predefined here. You can type this statement like document dot document element. Okay, there's something known as document dot document element. This also will give the same HTML only, guys. Okay, either this way you can get this HTML, or document dot document element also you can get the same HTML. Okay, I feel this is a better way. Okay, rather than putting the numbers and all, if you simply say document dot document element, you will get the entire HTML code of this page. I'm going to clear it out, guys. Okay, I'm going to clear it out. If you want to try them on your own, I have provided in the notes, guys. You can get these notes. Okay, in the description of this video, you can get these notes. Document dot children of zero, document element. Okay, till here we have seen. Okay, document dot document element is getting the HTML, whole HTML code of the page, whereas document is getting the entire HTML file. Right? So children of zero is also getting the HTML code of the whole HTML code of the page, but the better way I feel is document dot document element. Now, guys, let's explore more, guys. Okay, let's explore more. What I want to do is I want to get this particular title, guys. Okay, I want to get this title. What I will do? I want to get this title. I want to go to a level where I can go to this title. Okay, so for that, guys, what I can do is I will say document dot, okay, document dot document element. I will say this will give you the entire HTML code, starting from HTML tag to the whole HTML code of the page will come here. But what I want is the title, guys, which is there inside the head. Title is the child of the head. Head is the child of the HTML. So to go to the title level, what we have to type here is document dot document element dot. I'll first say children, guys. Okay. When I say children, guys, what are the, who are the children of this HTML, guys? Head and body, right? Okay. Head and body are the two children here. Head is at the which index, 0 or 1? Head is at the 0 index, body is the index 1, but title is there inside the head. So here I will say children of 0. This will get me the, you see here, if I'm not pressing enter, guys, but it's suggesting that you are going to get head. After that, again, I will say dot children. Okay, under head, who are the children? Only one child is there. Only one child means it is going to have the index 0, guys. I'll just provide 0 index here. You see, it's suggesting that you are going to get some title. Press enter, guys. You got the title, right? But if you want the text that is there in between the title tag, what you have to do? You got the entire title element here, HTML title element you got, but you don't want the title element, but you want the text that is there between the title tags. For that, guys, you have to type like this: document dot document element dot children of zero. It will go to the head. Again, again you have to say children of zero. Then you have to say, this will give you the title, but I will say here dot inner text. Sorry, not inner text, guys, inner HTML. Okay, I have to say dot inner HTML. Okay, this inner HTML property of DOM will retrieve the text that is there between these tags. Okay, so if I just press enter here, guys, you got the actual title of this page. Fine. Similarly, let's do one more experiment, guys. This time I want to get this paragraph text. Let's say. I want to get the second paragraph text, not the first paragraph. I want to get the second paragraph text. What we can do? I'll type something like this. I will say, hope you are able to understand how to write the DOM statements. Document dot document element dot. I'll say children of here. If I say 0, guys, I'll get the head. Okay, if I give 0 here, I'll get the head, but I want the body, guys, because these paragraph tags are inside the body section. So I'll give 1, guys. You see, it's suggesting that you are going to get body. That's fine. I'll say dot. Under that, I'll go for the children again. There will be 2 children because there are only 2 paragraphs displayed on the web page. So here, if I go with the 0, guys, it will get me the first paragraph. If I give the 1 here, it will get me the second paragraph. Okay, but what I want is the text between the paragraph tags. Okay, I don't want the paragraph tag here. I want the text that is there between the paragraph tag, second paragraph tag. I'll say inner HTML. I have to type and press enter. You see, the second paragraph text, that is another paragraph text, is coming here. So this is how, guys, we have to write the DOM statement. So easy, guys, nothing much. Okay, not that much difficult as it looks or sounds. Fine, guys. So far you understood all the absolute way of okay. Yeah, you see, if you want to go to a particular, if you want to find this paragraph, guys, you are starting from the document. Okay, you have to give the entire path here, right? Document dot document element, children of one, inner HTML, like that you have to give. But guys, this is not required. You don't have to write the DOM statement so lengthy. So lengthy DOM statements are not required to be written. Instead, guys, in DOM we have some shortcuts, guys. We have some DOM methods using which the statements don't no need to write the statements in this lengthy manner. Rather, we can write them in a simplest way. For example, guys, I'll clear it out. So if I see this HTML code of this page here on the left side in the elements tab, you see. So under the this is a entire HTML code of this web page, guys. This under the body tag, we have 2 paragraphs, first paragraph, second paragraph. Let's say I want to look at the second paragraph, guys. Okay, I want to write a DOM statement which will directly go to the second paragraph. So guys, if you clearly observe this second paragraph, there is a attribute known as id, right? It has some value. Why developers have given this id attribute for this paragraph tag? Why the developers have given this id attribute to this paragraph tag with some value? ID stands for uniqueness, guys. You see, if you are in school or college or anywhere, guys, you'll have a roll number or a unique ID card will be given to you with a unique ID number, right? So other person cannot have the same ID as you have. Everyone should have a different unique ID value, right? Rule number 1 will be there, then another rule number 1 will not be there. Only 1 will be there or 2 will be there, right? Other person will have 2. Like that, ID numbers also will differ, right? Similarly, for each and every element, okay, so for most of the elements on the web pages, developers will try to give some IDs, guys, okay, because at some point of time they want to access these elements uniquely. Okay, for example, developer want to access this particular paragraph uniquely, so he's giving a unique ID to this. You see, what is the value of this ID for this paragraph? Para2. What about the first paragraph? It has a different ID, guys. Not all the elements will have the same ID. Okay, as per the best practices and the process that has to be followed. Developers, if they give some ID to one element, for the another element, they have to give another ID. So they have to make the ID unique while developing the applications. Fine. Now, guys, since this particular paragraph, developer has provided some ID and with some unique value, I'm going to copy this unique value, guys, that is para2, and I'm going to the console tab. Here, I'm going to use some method of the DOM, guys, which will make our job easy here. We don't have to write document element and children of something. We don't have to write that. Instead, we have to simply say document dot get element. Okay, this is the code, guys. That get element by ID. Inside the curly circular brackets, you have to provide double quotes, and in between the double quotes, you have to paste the ID of that unique ID of that paragraph. Okay, so this will locate the second paragraph, guys. Okay, just press enter. You see the second paragraph is getting located. If you want to get the text between this paragraph, you have to append this with dot inner HTML. You'll get that. Okay, simple, guys. You already seen that. Fine. So like this, guys, we can create the DOM statement. These are the better way of creating, guys. Most of the people use this kind of DOM methods for locating the elements on the web pages. Now let's try to locate the first paragraph, guys. First paragraph is having the ID as para1. I'll copy this ID and just go here. I'll type here document dot get element by ID. Okay, in the double quotes, I'll provide the ID value. You see, this will locate the first paragraph like this. Okay, fine. This will locate the first paragraph. Okay, this is a use of the ID, guys. Apart from this method, guys, get element by ID, Here element by id guys, okay, only element is there, okay, id is unique, so element has to be written. But coming to the other attributes guys, okay, apart from the id in html we have other attributes like name attribute, class attribute, okay, like that some other attributes are also there. If you want to locate using name attribute, we cannot say element there, okay, we have to say elements, because name cannot be unique guys, name attribute cannot be unique. For example, I'll show you something. Let's go to this sample web application, umaya.blogspot.com. Here guys, there are three buttons here: submit, login, and register. I'll inspect one of the button here, and you'll get the html code of this three buttons. One of the button, that is submit button, html code. What is the name guys? Same name. For the login button also, what is the name value? Again the same name. For register also, same name. Okay, so guys, I'll copy one of the same name thing here, copy this, and here if I have to locate the submit button, what I can do is I'll say document dot get elements. Here I have to say elements guys, I cannot say element by name attribute, right? So name you have to type, okay, name, and in the circular brackets you have to provide the double quotes and paste the value guys. Okay, this is returning three buttons. Node list of three means button one, button two, button three. That means submit, login, register. But here guys, we can filter out one of the button first. If you want to get the first button, you have to give it the index as 0 here, okay, press enter. Now you got the first button guys, okay. What if you give the index 1 here, okay? If I give something like document dot document elements by name, document elements by anything, everything clear here, document dot, sorry, get elements, okay, get elements by name, and here just you have to watch this session in full screen guys, because this cannot be resized. So same name, but here I'll give the index value as 1. This time you see the login button is getting located, okay, with the index 1 the login button. If you give the index 2, the register button will come. I'll copy paste this one guys, and just give the number 2 here and press enter. We'll get the third button, that is register button, okay. So name cannot be unique always guys. Name is always not unique. For these three buttons you see, they have the same name. For example, this search box field has a name which is only one element in this particular page has a name queue, okay, only one element in this page has a name queue. So even in that case also guys, even though there are no other web elements on the page which has the same name, but still what you have to do, you have to write document dot get elements only, we have to type, okay. We cannot say element, that is a wrong syntax, okay. We have to say, if you are doing by name, we have to give elements only. Even though one element is having the name also, you have to give the elements only, and also you have to give the index also guys, okay, otherwise it will not work. At the end you have to provide the index, then only it will work guys. You see the text box field got located, you see the help of DOM we are able to locate. So JavaScript will use these DOM statements to access this kind of elements and modify the properties of these elements, okay. Now you are able to understand, right, why DOM is required for JavaScript, okay. So let's see what else is left out guys. So element by name is done. We have class name, tag name, okay. We can go with that class name guys. Now we can go with the class name. So class is something here guys, we'll go here. So here I'll inspect guys, okay, I'll inspect this, and this currency text, you see this is a html code of this currency text, okay. This is a currency text, and it has some class name, right? I'll copy this class name, and so here I'll say document dot get elements. Here also elements guys, it's not unique again, only id is unique in the html, okay. Remaining name, class name, everything is not unique. I have to type class name, okay, using the class name class attribute I'm doing. In that case I have to say get element by class name. You have to paste the class of the class attribute value of this particular currency. You see the before I press enter here guys, it's suggesting that there are 10 elements on this page which are having the same class. Just press enter here. What are the elements that have the same class as a currency? The first element is currency guys, the second element is what? This number, you see, mobile number. And here my account is also having the same thing, which list, shopping cart, checkout, and many other elements on this page guys, okay. So what we have to do guys here, I have to write, I'll copy paste guys, I will not type the same thing here. You have to give some index guys. If you want to only access this currency, then you have to say document dot get elements by class name, give the class name, and say index 0. You see the first element, only first element got located here. If I give 1 here, this mobile number will be located, only mobile number will be located, okay. Only mobile number got located like this guys. You can play with the class name, fine. So fine guys. Okay, so the next one, tag name. Okay, the next one is the tag name guys. So what I will do here is okay, on the same web page guys. Okay, on the same web page, as you can see guys, on the same web page there are several images here. Okay, there are several images. I want to locate this iPhone image. Let's say I want to locate this iPhone image using the DOM statement. I'll inspect this. I'll inspect this phone guys, mobile phone, that is iPhone. And what is the tag that this particular image has? IMG tag. So what I will do here is I'll locate this particular image with the help of the tag name guys. Okay, that is IMG tag. So for that guys, I will say document dot get elements by tag name. Here also elements, because there are multiple images. So elements. So here in between this circular brackets, I have to provide something like uh, sorry, that img tag is, sorry, should not be pasting that img tag. Okay, document dot get elements by tag name as ing. And if I press enter guys, you see there are 29 images on this web page. Okay, there are 29 images on this web page, and the fifth one is this iPhone guys. Okay, the fifth the image that is having the index 5 is the iPhone. If I go with the index 4, MacBook is there. Okay, so based on that I can decide, right, what I have to do. I'll copy this guys, I'll copy this. I'll just go down here or clear this out guys, clear this out and press. I'll just press, I just give the index value 5 guys. If I give index 5 guys, the image which is having the iPhone image is getting located. Okay, what if I give the index 4? If I give the index 4 here, the image tag name is IMG guys, and index 4 is like MacBook. Okay, it should locate the MacBook. So that's how guys we can experiment the tag name also. Now the final one guys, here inner HTML ID class name I'll explain later. That's okay. The last example is there. After that I'll cover these properties. We'll be done with the different basics that are required for learning the JavaScript. We'll be done. Okay, from the next session we can start the JavaScript without any problem. Fine. So having these basics is good for understanding what I am going to explain in the from the next sessions. Okay, that's why I'm taking this much time. Fine guys. The next thing is that we can use a combination guys. Okay, it's not like that if you use get element by id you should not use get element by tag name. Okay, you can use a combination of these things guys. Okay, you can use a combination of id and tag name also. For example, here on this application why.blogspot.com there is a table guys. Okay, if I inspect this table, this table has an id guys. Okay, using the id I can locate the table. Okay, so how can I locate the table? With the help of the id. So here I'll type, just drag it so that you can see, document dot get element by id I will say. Okay, inside this id I'll provide the double quote circular brackets and paste the id of this particular table. Okay, now if I press enter guys, okay, the table having that particular id is getting located. Fine. But if I expand this table guys, inside the table, let's say I want to get this particular Bangalore text here. Okay? I want to get this Bangalore text. Okay, so for that guys, where is this Bangalore? So this is the body of the table. This is the head of the table. Okay, this particular section is in the head, and this is the body of that. Okay, I have to go to the body. Under the table, we have to go to the body. So what I will do here, this one is locating the table. After that, I will type get elements by tag name. What tag? This body section is there. T body. T body means this is a tag name, right? Get elements by tag name. I have to give the double quotes and type key body here. And also, since it is elements, you have to provide some index value guys. Since only one t body is there, it will be having the index 0. Okay, that's it. This will locate the entire body of the table. You see, it's not locating the head, it's only locating the body of the table. That's fine. I'll copy paste again this one. Now guys, under this body, to get this Bangalore, I have to go to the first row, second row, third row. Okay, first row, second row, third row. In third row, tr3, this Bangalore is there. So what I will do here is, again I will say get elements by tag name. Okay, here I'll give something like tr. Okay, but index should be 0 1 2. Okay, index 2 we have to give. Press enter, copy this, paste it here again. So this one was locating the table row, but I want the Bangalore guys. For that, I have to expand this. There are three TDs. Okay, I want to get the third one. Okay, this one. Okay, I have to go till here. For that guide, again, I will say get elements by tag name of TD. Okay, I'll say TD guys. Okay, so I'll say TD of 2 guys, index 2, right? 0, 1, 2. And at the end, I will say dot inner HTML property and press enter. So what's happening here? There's a mistake somewhere. Give me a second, guys. Let's go to the TD first and press enter. You got the TD, guys. In that, if you want to get that inner HTML, let's try this time. Dot inner HTML. Press enter. Now you got the Bangalore. Okay. Sometimes you will get unexpected errors, guys. Ignore that. Keep trying again. You will get. Okay. You got the Bangalore. Okay. This is how, guys, we can use a combination of the methods also. The same statement you can use multiple methods. Okay. That's the one of the demonstration. Now, guys, what else is remaining? Inner HTML is fine. You already have demonstrated multiple times. But guys, sometimes you want to get the attribute values. Okay. For example, guys, here, if I take you to this basic web page, here, if I inspect this, and if I go here, and if I type document dot document element, it will get the whole HTML code of this page. Okay, we got the whole HTML code of this page. That's fine. Guys, I want to get this para one. Okay, I want to get this para one. How to get that? How to get the para one? Or let's say, yeah, I want to get the para one, guys. Okay, so for that, guys, what I can do is I'll say document dot get elements by tag name. I'll write paragraph tag here. It will locate the two paragraphs, but I am going to give the index as 0 here. It will locate the first paragraph. Okay, for this first paragraph, okay, you see para one is coming. I want to retrieve this attribute value. So I have to give the attribute name, guys. Like I have to give ID. If you want to get the value of this ID attribute, I have to give ID and press enter. You got the ID. Okay, para one. Like this, you can retrieve, guys. Here, in place of inner HTML, you are giving the name of the attribute. Okay. For example, if you want to get the class, okay, in that case, guys, I'll again go to the same thing. And here at the end, guys, I will say dot. I have to give something like class name, guys. In this case of class, it's suggesting me to use class name. So if I provide class name, I'm getting the class of this. You see, class is main. I'm getting the main. Fine. Any other attributes? Any other attributes? For example, apart from the ID and class name, if I want to get some other attribute, let's say which attribute I can take, guys. In this case, I'll go to this any of the page. Let's see. Yeah, I'll take this table, guys. Okay, I'll take this table. You see, the table is having the ID as table 1 and border is equal to 1, guys. Okay, I want to get the value of this border. Okay, I want to get the value of this border out. So it has some ID. I'll take this ID. So I'll type here. It will be easy for me to type the DOM statement, right? Document dot get element by ID, and here I will provide the ID value, guys, and say dot. Okay, get element by ID, and I will say dot. What is the value? I want to get the attribute name. I'm giving the attribute name directly, guys. If it's not ID class, I have to give the name of the attribute as it is. Okay, and press enter, guys. You will get the border of that particular table. Border value of the table is 1. That's how simple it is, guys. Okay. So guys, I hope you understood the DOM properties and DOM statements, basics of the DOM, basics of the CSS, and basics of the HTML, which are required for learning the JavaScript. All the prerequisites that are required for starting learning the JavaScript are completed, guys. From the next session, I am going to kickstart the JavaScript. Okay. Now you know all the basics, so I'm going to kickstart the JavaScript from the next session onwards. So that's it, guys. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye.